Yo, what's going on, guys? DJS here. I wanted to bring you guys a follow-up video to the video that I posted the other day regarding kind of my rant with Xbox One and kind of my thoughts with that. And I like some of the feedback you guys were giving me. Not everybody agrees, obviously. Some people are happy with their Xbox Ones. Some people see PS4 as superior. Other people just don't like Xbox One like myself. But there's a lot of conversation around that, and it brought me to a lot of points that I wanted to make in the video and I didn't really get to, so I wanted to go ahead and make a follow-up. And so if you didn't watch the other one, stop this video, go watch that other one maybe, and then come back to this one. But the thing is there's a lot of things to be said about the way games are being like released nowadays. It's just different. Everything is like controlled more or less, and I had a conversation with one of my in real life buddies about this as well, a little bit about the new console wars and all this stuff. I think that there's a lot of issues with the way things are being controlled through the software companies that make the games, versus back in the day it seemed to be a lot more power from the manufacturer of the console, at least for release days. And some of the reasons why I think about this is because you look at all the major releases that occurred, they all came out before the next gen consoles were released. So you have Call of Duty Ghost, you have Battlefield 4, you have Assassin's Creed 4, you have all these major games that have released. I'm sure you guys can name a bunch more. But they all came out on Xbox 360 and PS3. Reason being because the companies that make the actual... And look, I just about got kicked from behind right there. Anyway, yeah, I thought that this was fitting to play this over some Gears of War gameplay for part of this conversation. But you have all these phenomenal games supposedly that are available on 360, PS3, and then a month later you get the PS4, and all of a sudden you have to buy the games again. And the thing is that I think, in my opinion, the companies that make the games are kind of running the show now. Because if you think about it, if I was a game company that made Call of Duty or whatever, why would I want to release them just on next gen? My sales would be way less if I was just doing next gen. There's no incentive for me just to do Xbox One versus Xbox 360. So I think that it makes sense for the software companies to make these games available on as many like avenues as possible. And look at this guy just sitting here. I don't know what the heck's going on. I missed him. I don't know why. Well, I got that guy at least. But it makes sense that you want to make a 360 version, and you want to make a Xbox One version, and you want to try to sell as many things as you can to as many people. But because the consoles are not backing it, like back in the day, you look at Nintendo, and when Nintendo came out, you would get Nintendo. You get the Nintendo. And I'm an old gamer. I've been gaming since ColecoVision, which, if you don't know what that is, it's before Nintendo even came out. And Nintendo came out and it had Mario Brothers, and then there's Zelda, and like all these awesome games that were available for Nintendo. Look at that, I'm just about dead right here. But there was all these, and I got so lucky right there. That was crazy. Watch this right here. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, now there's like two guys. There's no chance right there. But then you'd have all these epic launches. But you got to realize Nintendo owned Zelda. Nintendo owned Super Mario Brothers. So every time you would get a new console, you would get the newest, like Mario Brothers. You'd get the newest Mario Kart or whatever it is. But they were all games that were owned by the company. With the games the way they are now, Microsoft doesn't own a lot of different games other than this one, which honestly would have been the most epic launch. But the shelf life for Gears of War 3 wasn't really gone. It hasn't really been spent yet, so they couldn't really release the Gears of War 4 yet. It's just really bad timing for these console launches. They honestly, in my opinion, they should have waited one more year before they launched. And it probably would have been a smoother launch, or maybe do a summertime one. But it's all about making as much money as you can. It's all about the holiday release consoles and all this other stuff. So they rush everything up. A lot of the big name games have been delayed. And so obviously we're going to see a lot of great games later on. But for the initial launch of the console, those that buy it, I have a feeling, at least like myself, I feel kind of empty. Like, yay, I got the new console. But the games I have are the same games I had on 360, the same games I could have had at least. Well, there's a couple that I've been able to play. Dead Rising 3 being one of them was pretty good. It wasn't as polished as I would have liked necessarily, and they just really didn't focus on the games. And I know people are going to be like, well, you just got to wait it out, and I don't even know how I just got killed right there. That was ridiculous. But if you wait it out, I think 6 months, a year from now, it's going to be amazing. There's going to be awesome games for it. I'm looking forward to Titanfall on 360. I'm looking forward to The Last of Us on PS4, because The Last of Us was just an awesome game. But if you look at a game like The Last of Us and then you look at some of these other games, it's like I'd rather play The Last of Us on PS3 than Killzone on PS4, to be quite honest. And that's coming from somebody that's never played Killzone. So, I mean, for people that really love Killzone, don't get your panties in a wad. I just never played it before, but I really know that I liked The Last of Us, and I basically got a PS3 just so I could play that game. It was worth it for myself. But yeah, it's an interesting shift in the way that consoles have been launching. And for those that have never seen another console launch, if the Xbox 360 was the first and only console, or the PS3 was the first and only console that you've owned, you haven't really seen how these launches have occurred in the past. Again, I've been there since before Nintendo launched, and then Super Nintendo, then 64, and Genesis, and Dreamcast, all these launches and stuff, and all the different games that they've kind of had along the way, and some of the successes and some of the fails of the releases. But in my opinion, what would have been better for Xbox One and for PS4 both is if they would have had a major game such as a Gears of War, such as a Halo, launch with that console. It would have been so much better. It would have made me go, this, okay, so are you trying to decide between a PS4 or an Xbox One? Because if they had Halo come out for it, or if they had a new Gears of War, absolutely a new Gears of War, because I've been a fan of the game from the beginning, I would have definitely jumped on that bandwagon just because of that game. We don't have that anymore, I don't think, and I guess we do have the exclusivity, but it's just not as dominant right now because of the lack of appearance on the console launch. And I wonder what Microsoft is kind of thinking or saying about the reasons why they didn't launch some of these major titles on the thing. Again, I personally think it's because the other versions are still selling. People are still buying Gears of War 3 for Christmas this year. People are still going to be buying Halo 3 for Christmas for kids this year. I mean, the shelf life of the game wasn't gone yet. I can't believe that it took so many shots to kill that guy. So because of that, I think that they wanted to maximize profits on the older generation games. I still think that Xbox 360 and PS3 are great consoles. I think that the games that they have available for those consoles are still going to do really well in sales. And I bet you that the sales for those console games will probably be equal to or better than the sales of the console games for Xbox One. I mean, on launch night for the Xbox One for Call of Duty, I had I think 7,000 to 9,000 people online for Call of Duty Ghosts. That was it on launch night. That's ridiculously low. On launch night for the game, when it came out, it was I think it was close to 1 million people playing or something like that, maybe a couple 100,000. I'm not really sure anymore. But I know historically there's been over 1 million people online at a time playing that game, so the numbers have dwindled from that. And I think that in some sense of the way the release happens, Call of Duty can actually suffer from this because they're on so many different consoles. Before it was PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. Now they have 5 consoles that they're on, and there's going to be various hardcore gamers on all 5 of these consoles, meaning the overall number that it looks like people are playing the game is way less, and because of that, it appears less desirable. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic kind of plays in to the new consoles as well. But I guess this is just kind of where I was at with this video. I just wanted to do a little video kind of discussing. Look at this. I almost got more than one guy, and then I got chainsawed. The classic way to die on Gears of War. But I want to know your guys' comments. I liked the comments that I got on the previous video. Again, not everybody agreed, which is totally cool. I mean, I like that there's different dynamics. I mean, everybody is definitely entitled to their own opinions on the way things work out. But I like to dig a little bit deeper on some of this stuff because it's not just a console thing. I mean, being a gamer is kind of a way of life. And luckily, I got that guy before he chainsawed me this time. And if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would still be a gamer, like, to the core. Like, I've been a gamer, again, for so many years. It's just it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. And it's just interesting to see how this new launch has just kind of been weird. I don't really know what else to say about it. I thought I was going to look at that. 3 guys there, and I missed them. I wish I could have cooked that grenade a little bit. That would have been better. instead of just throwing it and letting them hear it and then running away. I thought for sure I was going to get a multi-kill on that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to more games on the consoles. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the next-gen games, I can't imagine. Destiny looks really good. Like, from, I guess, and that's the thing. We saw the original launch with title games and all these games and all these exclusive rights to some games here and there that some of the companies are going to have. And there's a lot of promises of all these epic games, but then we didn't see any of it on launch. The other thing is, I think that Xbox, at least Xbox in general, or specifically, has gone in the wrong direction. I mean, I mentioned this before the launch, but it's like, why are you focusing on Xbox Connect? The average gamer does not want to stand up in a room and wiggle your arm around on the fucking screen. It doesn't make any sense to me to have Xbox Connect be the central focus. Now, I understand they're trying to be innovative, but there's a lot of times where, I mean, as a sneaker guy, Nike's made this mistake many times too, and try to be too innovative with some things, and they just don't work out. Other things might take off and do really well, but in my opinion, Kinect is a great side option, but it shouldn't be the main focus. The main focus should be gaming and the smoothness of the gaming, and making sure your console can handle the gaming that we were wanting to see. Also, what about the whole 4K thing? The 4K graphics, the Mac Retina display sort of graphics, though we really should have had next-gen consoles start with those graphics, because every single time we have a next-gen console, it's improved with the graphics like over and over and over again. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. It would have been nice to see some improved graphics on a next-gen instead of just 1080p. But leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think. This is a longer video, just kind of me rambling about these sorts of things. And it was a decent game for myself, even though I think we ended up losing that one. Oh, no, we won. Anyway, have a good one. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.